You can also quickly share it with your trusted friends and, within your network for people that you believe will, benefit from the discussion today. Thank you. Welcome, Tefelo. I hope I got the name right. Joining us from Botswana, Queen Esther. Thank you. Okay, so who else do we have in the house? Yeah, 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 yeah. Tefelo. Did I get the name right? Tefelo.
Yes, you got
Oh,
it
I
right.
did.
Thank you.
Oh, amazing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so since we are dealing with technology, we need to let you know that we also have our AI assistant in the house with us to record this meeting, just so that we can share it even after, for the benefit of those that are not able to join us live today. Okay, so you can keep dropping where you're joining us from. And I think at this moment, it will also be in order to begin to share the profiles of our guest speakers for today. We have Space Amina. Madam Amina, welcome to the
Thank
fireside
you.
discussion. How are you today? Where are you
Right.
joining us from today?
Okay, I'm joining you from Zaria, Nigeria, precisely.
Wow, Zaria. Wow, northern part of Nigeria. Amazing, amazing. Welcome. Thank you for being with us today. And we also have Wura Ayodele, my very own Wura. Welcome, Wura. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. It's so amazing to be here with you all this morning, having this very important conversation around this topic. And of course, kickstarting the 16 days of activism, which starts tomorrow. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
All right. Wura, where are you joining us from today?
Yeah, so I've been all over the world, but currently joining you from Rwanda.
Wow.
Yes,
East
I'm
Africa.
glad to be with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Wura. Thank you very much. So, Omoba, have you been able to share the profiles of the speakers on the chat with their pictures? For anybody that wants to have an in-depth, feel of their backgrounds, I think it will be important just to share it there. So, Udwa Dofia, I'm the founder of Women in Mediation Network, WIMNET. WIMNET is registered in Nigeria, but we are a borderless global space for women involved in the women rights activism space, especially those advocating under the framework of the Women, Peace and Security agenda, either as mediators or peace builders in any space. So we also have more people coming in. I can see Kemsi from Impact. So just maybe put your name on the chat function and where you're joining us from. So we know that recently we, marked the anniversary. I think it's call it like 25th anniversary of the Women, Peace and Security agenda. That is those wonderful package of 10 resolutions that actually advocates for gender mainstreaming in the peace and security space. And then, of course, by tomorrow, we will be, kickstarting the very beginning of the 16 days of activism. I believe that many women rights defenders already know that we block out these 16 days, beginning from the 25th of November to the 10th of December. And we know that tomorrow is the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women and Girls. That's November 25th. And then the 10th of December is actually the International Human Rights Day. So basically, these, days or these activities are actually lined up to actually show that women rights are human rights. And specifically, the theme for the 16 days of activism, we know. Does anybody know? Let's see. Those of us that are a little bit, very in touch. Anybody has an idea of what the theme for the event is? You can just chat. You can just drop it in the chat if you know. Okay, that's a teaser. Okay? That's a teaser. So I want you to think we are here to learn, we are here to share our experiences. So today, like I said, we have Wura from Women Group House, and we also have Amina from We Space. Today, we'll be talking about technology facilitated gender based violence. I think that is a mouthful, but it is the reality of our time that the face of gender based violence is actually changing. So it is moving away necessarily from the physical space to even the virtual space. How do we grapple with this? What can we do as women rights defenders, as people working to empower women and girls? How do we equip ourselves and the people that we are mentoring or supporting or advocating for to protect themselves in the cyberspace? And to take us further into this discussion, we are going to be looking at the landscape of TFGB. So when I say TFGB, it's basically technology facilitated gender-based violence. And then to open up, for us in this discussion, I would like Wura of Women Safe House. So quickly, just paint the landscape for us. What forms of technology facilitated gender-based violence have you seen or experienced? And then Amina will also tell us how does this affect women's, well-being. So Wura, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and of course, thank you for this session. I'm just going to get right into what technology GBV looks like and what that is. And I will speak from my experience as a women human rights defender, but also as somebody who has addressed and continues to address gender-based violence against women and girls. So how does this work? It works both online and offline, and I'm sure we probably have seen that from the title of this webinar. And I'm saying this because many times people think that if you're not online, as a woman, if you're not online, then maybe you cannot experience TFGBV. But during the session, I will let us know how you can experience that even if you're not online. I'm going to just quickly add that TFGBV is targeted against women. It's not the general form of cyber crimes that people experience. People experience cyber crimes every day, but it's targeted against women. And what kinds of ways do people target? I'll start, of course, first with cyber stalking, digital surveillance. I mean, I'm sure we probably are familiar with this already. But why is this an issue? Why is cyber stalking and digital surveillance an issue? How does this play out? We all know that there are still social norms and issues against women, some of which include stigma, some of which include shaming, things like that. And because this thing still exists, we have people who are right online and can use this as a weapon against women. So cyber stalking could basically be just stalking somebody online, either on social media or even through the emails, maybe sending multiple emails to someone. It could be monitoring the person's phone calls or messages, or just, sending multiple messages to the person on all social media platforms, checking out to see what their activities are, commenting on all the pictures or videos that they have posted, even in the past. I mean, you just imagine someone going as far back as 10 years ago or more, when you posted pictures and then going there to comment, putting up nasty comments on those pictures or on those videos. That's one way that women experience that. Another one, of course, would be something that we're familiar with, which is sharing pictures or videos without consent, especially when those pictures or videos are of a very private nature. So there's something called revenge pornography. And unfortunately, women fall victims of this kind of online abuse, where pictures can be shared by past intimate partners that they've had before. When you're in an intimate partner relationship, many times you don't think that taking a picture with your partner might be harmful, but it can become harmful, if that person wants to target you. And I was speaking last week to a couple of people, and I said, How many times have men shared private pictures online and they got a negative feedback? You know, most times you get people saying, "Oh, that's wonderful," um, or you might want to be ashamed of yourself, or it's not a big deal. You even see more women, hitting on them after that. However, if the reverse is the case, where a woman is the one who is sharing those photographs, or her photographs are being shared online, you can see how much bashing she probably will get from that. And so this is sharing sexual images or videos online without consent, or just using this as a way to blackmail people, women, to get them to pay money. So, in my experience, I have seen survivors who had their pictures in the hands of these blackmailers, and these ones will send them messages saying, "You have to pay this amount of money, otherwise, I'm going to post your pictures online. I'm going to tag you and people, and you're going to be disgraced." Yeah, so it's that. It's also deep fake pornography. This is when you don't even take pictures at all, but AI tools are used to create pictures of a person, of a woman, in a way that she looks nude, and then those pictures are now shared online, of course, without the person's consent. Another one I would really love to touch on is online harassment and hate speech, where we have threats of violence, threats of rape, threats of death, threats of physical harm being targeted against women. And this can come for any reason. This can be you may be in politics, for instance, you've run for a position, and people say, if you continue to go on with that position, you continue going on with this election, then we are going to rape you. It can be that. It can also be, targeting how the person looks. Say, "Oh, her head is too big," or she's too short, or just publishing personal information, about the person. And this is popularly known as doxing, by the way. Public information or private information being published publicly can include your private addresses. I'm sure many of us would not want our private addresses, our home addresses, to be just public knowledge online, because then anybody can just come look for you at home. Or publishing like your private phone number online without people, without getting your consent, and without anybody, saying, "Oh, yes, you're free to do that." How is this harmful? You see people calling you, sending you messages, even without you knowing how they got your number. Yeah, so that's another way. And now maybe I should just touch a little bit on people who are not online, right? So even if you're not connected online, you can get multiple phone calls from a person who is abusing you. You can have 300, 400 phone calls within the space of 1 hour. You can have multiple emails within that same space. You can have multiple text messages within that same space. You can have someone call you and just say, I can see you, you're wearing a red dress today. I saw you. You just walk past that store, and that person begins to feel like, "Oh, am I paranoid, or is someone watching me?" Yeah, so that's also very possible. I don't want to just go into financial scams, because that is even a lot. We have people creating and hacking phones, email addresses, bank accounts, using AI to manipulate and see how they can defraud women. Why is this a women's thing? It's a women's thing because women, technology is gendered. Let me put it that way. Technology works in a gendered sense, where women are not expected to understand how technology works best, or how it works in any sense. And now, of course, we are now in the AI space, our AI era, and we keep growing in this era because it's here to stay. How many women understand what these issues are? How many women know what this is? Even when we talk about financial abuse, when we talk about this kind of online abuse. The last one I would probably touch on would be where you have tracking devices. And when you say tracking devices, sometimes we feel like, "Oh, the country where I live, we don't have those kind of devices." Trust me, you do. Yeah, tracking devices can be so small. They can be literally the Find Your Key devices by Apple. We have so many other very little tracking devices that you can have. Some are pens, some are key holders, I mean, they look so small that you don't even know that they're tracking devices. And these devices can be thrown anywhere. They can be thrown into a woman's handbag. They can be given to her child, for instance, to hold on to. And with that, you're able to know where the person is at every point in time. They can be used at any time, really, to track, to know what is happening, where the person is. Again, some of these devices are also listening devices, meaning that they're listening enabled. So they can not only know the location, but they can also listen into the conversations that that person is having and be able to get information to harm or attack that person. For want of time, I'm going to stop and maybe I'll circle back to you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so very much, Wura. I mean, the landscape you have painted is so scary already. It's like more like Big Brother is watching you anywhere you go, that kind of a thing. Yeah. Actually, sharing this just, like prompted me. I remember there was an incident, a matter that was referred to our organization to handle. And it was very sad. This was actually between a couple, like fully married couple. And because of domestic violence and abuse, the lady said she was leaving. And you cannot imagine, her husband now decided to actually bring out video clips, things of their intimate moments. The girl was so distressed. She couldn't function. She was like, what do I do? I'm scared. He says, if I leave, you're going to have all of this out there online. And she refused to really accept help because of just the fear of having their intimate moments out there. And I could not even begin to wrap my mind around it. So these things are real. They are very real. And I like, Amina, what do you think, what kind of impact or effect does this technology-facilitated gender-based violence really have on women? From your own experience, from what you've seen around you, would you share with us, please? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And then I want to say,
Amina, can we have your video on? We'd love to see your face, if it's possible. Thank you. The bandwidth. Okay, if it will affect the bandwidth, maybe you could leave it. I mean, we can just do it listening to you.
I don't know. Okay. Wura has said so much, and then it's all like, do I still have anything to say with regards to this? Yes, I do. Technology to me is an amplifier of women's voices. More than ever before, women can now speak or can now air their views across the globe. Yes, we're in the global village, that said so put it. And then the instrument that helps to make this global village closer to each and every one of us is this technology. Some are social media apps, some are phones, some are gadgets, and all of that. But on the flip side, I would like to say that technology to me is a necessary evil because it has two sides of the coin to me. On the good side, yes, it facilitates and makes things easier and get done communication-wise. But on the other side, like Sister Wura said, tech is gendered, yes. Women, to me, have suffered so much when it comes to technology. This same instrument or avenue that is meant to connect women has now been weaponized against women to silence them, box them. I've always had these issues with social media spaces, especially the likes of Facebook, TikTok, and I think Instagram, because I'm more of a Facebook person, and then Twitter. There are voices that should be heard, but due to some words that are censored on those platforms, some of those conversations do not get to come out to the public spaces. And then people don't feel safe to speak about it. Yes, you're trying to pronounce rape, you'll be forced to pronounce it as grape. So, and the bulk of women, the bulk of people who suffered JPV, put apart, the percentage of women is higher. Because when you say 1 in 3 women suffer something, and then 1 in 10 men suffer something, the statistics of the women will definitely outweigh that of the men. Offline, women are not, just like Sabura said something, When I was talking, I could remember an incident where somebody was pictured without her consent, and then her picture was used on Facebook to create a catfish account. And then this is a text piece. I think some of these concepts are things you are familiar with. Catfishing is using somebody else's picture to create a profile to either scam people or to get something from people on not a good term, I would say illegal. She was just there living her life and doing her stuff, and then her picture was being used somewhere to scam people. All she could do was to come out and cry to help her get the page down. That leads me to another aspect of this conversation. When we are trying to secure women's voice, both offline and online, it should not limit women's voice. Their confidence and their participation should not be coerced or boxed, like I said earlier. When we're going to talk about it, it will require us to expose how tech is misused. Because we cannot talk about the misuse of something when we're trying to see how to even get the negative side of this thing to be worked on or to be put correctly to protect women and girls. There are apps that allow people to, there are AI, let me just use the word, to clone your face, to get you to get your voice and every other thing to make it look like you are the one. And then we've seen instances where there are nudes of women and girls spread across social media, and then by the help of this tech-enabled AI. So we can say technology is a broad picture, but the other aspect of this tech has not been fair to women, if you ask me. Women in communities cannot say, oh, I do not have a phone, so I can be protected. I do not have access to internet, I'm protected. No. The harm, the abuse spreads and spill outside of the social media, or those that do not even have access to phone or a tech internet-enabled phone still are victims of these abuses. From people, you go to the market, you take a picture of the woman, and then you are putting it online without consent. Yes, we'll say there are laws that are protecting women, but we'll get to that. And how effective are those laws? And if the systems provided by some of these social media apps, I'm going to be very particular about those places because those are the ones that affect every other common women on the road. Yes, it could be another instrument being used to perpetrate those acts against them. And some of these women do not even know that these things that are being done against them are harmful to start with. So it's also good that people know that, yes, tech-enabled abuses are as harmful as domestic violence. And the perpetrators of that need to know that, yes, there are laws that need to be in place for them to understand that whatever you are doing in that digital space that is restricting the voice of other women is Twitter. On Twitter, they call it bullying. An incident came up last week where they were talking about something with regards to a case of Ochanya, and then a group of persons came up together and decided who are going to pull this page down. That is bullying. And then they keep these people across all social media, and the target person is a female. So many times you see them amplifying their evil acts using women who are enablers of these abuses. So because we cannot talk about tech-enabled abuses without talking the role of women who are playing part in this same thing. So they came together and more like recruits and got a good number of women and want them to go about, spill anything you can spill about this person, dent her image, begin to damage her page, go about reporting the page, ensure the page is brought down. And then one of those cohorts came out and said, so person left Twitter because we were able to do this 2 years ago.
Wow. Interesting.
Points with this social, that's why I said I'm going to be very focused on social media because I am a very silent user of Twitter, and then I see a lot of things, and then it's now spilling to TikTok, which happens to be more like a very friendly app to some persons before, but that toxic thing is still on there. So women out needs to know better that this tech thing is not in their favor to start with. So they should not be let themselves used as an instrument against other women. And then awareness is going to be very essential for us to get people to know the harmful practice when it comes to online and offline abuses. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. I mean, what you say is so spot on, because the truth is that technology can also be weaponized against women. And then they do the divide and rule thing, even within the, like you said, tech is gendered. They are very targeted and systematic in their approach at silencing women. For the benefit of those that really don't know what Ochaya case is about a minor that unfortunately passed on in Nigeria due to multiple sexual abuse from a family that was supposed to, keep her safe, basically. Actually, my daughter had to call me and tell me, "Mommy, are you following what is happening? I'm here in Tokyo," and my daughter is like very out there, like, "Mommy, this is what is happening. You have to know what's happening back home in Nigeria in this space," when it has to do with, protecting women and girls. So it's so sad. But then I think, Wura, I want to come back to you. Where do you think the gaps are? Where do you see the biggest gaps? Is it between policy, awareness, or digital literacy?
Okay, thank you for that question. It's quite difficult to decide if it's policy gaps really or digital literacy, but I'll start with digital literacy because, like I said earlier, this space is gendered. And when I say it's gendered, I mean that women have the lower power, if I can put it that way. There's power imbalance when it comes to technology and women. And because of that, a lot of women do not know about these things. We don't have the information. Digital literacy is still very low amongst women. You find that if we're talking anything technology, you might find women just say, "Look, that's too difficult for me to understand. I don't know. That's a guy's thing to do. That's what a man should probably focus on." And they just shift their focus away from that completely. That happens. And then also, there's the fact that if something is being installed, it's likely that whoever has the passwords or has the power would prefer to speak to a man over a woman. I'll give a very simple example, and this might not be directly related to technology, but it's really linked in a way. So some years ago, I was going to install an inverter system in my house, right? I was the one who wanted to install the inverter. I was the one who contacted the company the ones who I purchased the inverter system from. I was the one who made the payment and agreed with them as to the day they were to come to do the installation in my house. They arrived in my house, and all of a sudden, they were not speaking to me. They were speaking to my husband. Why? Because he's a man. Even though I was the one who contacted them, I was the one they had been talking to all along, but they immediately ignored me and started to explain to him what they were going to connect, what wires they were going to do. I mean, it was shocking to me, and I was wondering, like, what's going on? I was the one who reached out to you. This happens every single time. If you're going to install something at home, for instance, a device that could later be used to harm a woman, the woman doesn't have the information to protect herself because she doesn't know. And I'm sure during this session, we're going to be able to touch on what can women do, right, to protect themselves. And then maybe we will be able to look into digital literacy a little bit. Women need to step up in wanting to understand what these things are, in searching out for that information, right? In speaking out more about the kind of abuses that we face online. And so maybe with that, policy would also catch up. Now, policy creation is one thing, policy implementation is another. And so that's why I don't want to go right into that, because even when we create the policy, we probably have the problem of implementation. But right now, I can say this clearly. many countries do not have any specific law against TFGBV. We hide under the umbrella of general cyber crimes or general cyberbullying, right? But how is this targeted specifically against women? What law can make this a punishable crime, right? What law can criminalize TFGBV? We don't have that. TFGBV is not criminalized in many countries. So yes, that's still a problem. But I will start with, of course, literacy. Women need to know what these things are and how to protect themselves. Ourselves, because of course I'm a part of that.
Of course. We all need to learn. For me, this is also a learning. I learn every day. I'm trying to catch up when it comes to technology, but I know it's a space we cannot shy away from. As technology is advancing, even we, the women rights defenders, we also need to move. We need to understand. And that's why we are having this conversation. I believe it's also going to be a learning opportunity here for a lot of us. Okay, so Amina, would you want to share? We are going now to the practical everyday protection. So what do you think are like the practical everyday steps that a woman can take to maybe protect themselves or respond effectively to technology facilitated gender-based violence, TFGB?
Okay, thank you very much. And then I've changed my network so that I'll be able to see things while my face is up.
Thank you.
First thing that I'm going to talk about, which is the most common one, is hacking. Yes, we might be speaking to tech in regards to JBV, but we're not going to be speaking as tech pro, but we're just going to be speaking more like tech amateur, relating tech within the context of gender-based violence. Now, most women have WhatsApp. If you take a random sample of 10 women, you probably will meet 7 or 8 with an Android phone that has WhatsApp, especially within the urban area. So now, the most common one among them is pitching. I think is the right one. I don't know if you have tech people in the house, you could help me with that. Where they share with you a suspicious link and then you ignorantly click and then within the second your account is gone. And then on the other end, that same account, somebody is using it to scam people, to collect money, to do ahead. Thank you. This is Aura. So what do we need to do? On WhatsApp, you have a two-factor authentication. I think is one thing we need to take advantage of. Then I have problem with support and the help facility or what do I call it, provided by most of these social media and then tech-enabled platforms are still limited, because if you ask me with regards to gender-based violence, there should be a more prompt way to respond to issues when it comes to women and gender-based violence using the tech space. So, but in the case where somebody has issues and then you make a report and then you take them in the next 48 hours before you get a response to your email or something of sort, before you say that person is already in trouble. If my account is used to scam people, probably will be, whatever the done will be traced back to me. So women will enable to use the block button, the mute button, the two-factor authentication, and then many a times people take this for granted. Always check your activity. There are places on your profile that you could click to check where you've been logged in, and then you'll be surprised to see some places you never logged in there, or your phone, your Facebook or your TikTok or whatever is active in those locations, but you're wearing them. So something is going on. And some of these things do not happen instantly. It takes a period of time. They might be tracking and be watching on how to come down on you. So when you are very careful and being watchful on what to do, and then again, and this goes to many of our women who are probably into content creating or who are just in this development space like us, who are always out there. Probably you are in a conference and then you are putting yourself online, your live space, your live location. That is what I'm trying to say. Yes, I'm currently, like now, when you're asking about the location, some person, I'm very surprised that I'm not in Abuja. So that is how careful we need to be. Where you are, learn to keep your location private, and then always wipe out chats. WhatsApp provides some of these features where you have 24 hours disappearing messaging. If you are chatting with people who you do not trust or probably might want to use some of those information against you, always learn to close your chats and delete them. You have the ability to delete from both ends, and that way you are protected. Yes, some of them might have the screenshot of those things, but on your own end, try to do some of these things and then protect yourself. Like I said, there is a need for me to say this. It's something I've always been asking for. And I think I had that conversation with Susan earlier this month or last month when we were talking about this same thing, tech-facilitated gender-based violence. We have a lot of women in tech space, in Nigeria particularly. I think somebody I ran into during an event, and then she's a big name when it comes to tech in Nigeria. The question I'm going to pose at us is this, while I try to run all this. Can't we have an app that is solely for women? A social media where there is a safe space, not just a safe space per se, or a safe space in reality, where women can come and air their views without their words being censored, without their words being boxed, without them changing the words that they are spelling, because on Facebook there are some words you cannot spell, and I don't know, I have issues with them, and I think I can call it a beef. Because I don't know why these are life-threatening issues. Make a section for some certain words and then make sure that it's not being abused or is not being used in the wrong way. They have the capacity to do this. Why would I want to talk about gender-based violence and I'm afraid of mentioning violence on Facebook? So when we have women who are in tech space, I put it to us today, we should be able to come up with something that we call it a social media space, a supposed safe space, a community for women who works around gender-based violence, who are victims, who are survivors, who can come there to talk about things, and then other persons learn and also share experiences. And we can call it actually a safe space for women on social media. And I think that is doable. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so very much, Amina. So that is like a challenge for us all, a social media safe space for women. I think the more we continue to have these conversations and to show the need justification why we need to be creating these safe spaces. A lot of women, in case you don't, a lot of women are getting into tech now, like the younger generation. So I think we too, like this generation, really needs to be very intentional about baton passing. How many younger girls are you mentoring to become aware, to become also future women rights defenders? Because they're the ones that most times have the skills. They're the ones building their apps. They're the ones at the back end of most of these things. So what could happen, just like Amina is saying, what could happen if we could make them become aware that they can actually use their skills, and their opportunities, their platforms to actually protect fellow women from abuse. Wow. Thank you so very much. So Wura, I would love to ask, what other tools or habits do you think has worked for women that you support or you think might work? Because now we are looking at, tools, nuggets, what we could use to protect ourselves. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that. And thank you, Amina. You already touched on quite a number of things. I'm just going to touch on some things that we can do offline, not necessarily on social media alone. Okay, so for offline, I talked earlier around addresses, right? How doxing people can post your private addresses online. And you wonder, how did they get my private address? The truth is, many times we gave them the addresses without knowing. So do not post your home address online. Do not post your street. I mean, I see a lot of people doing this. They do, get ready with me. I mean, it's so dangerous. Get ready with me, and then you're posting the entrance to your house. You're posting your streets. You're posting like notable things on that street. Maybe like if there was a store on the street, you post that sign post or signboard. That is so dangerous. It's so easy for someone to trace your house if you're putting all of that there. Then again, of course, even the get ready with me thing, the work schedule. Sometimes people are posting all of this every single day. So people know when you wake up, they know when you get ready, when you go to work. They even know your roads. They know like the road you pass to work and when you come back. And I know a lot of us might think, oh, this is for content creation. Yeah, do you want to get paid or do you want to be safe? I mean, we have to really choose at some point. Protecting this is really important. And just taking this conversation a little bit further to women with children. Because if you're not being threatened, your children, people could use your children to threaten you. I mean, that's so easy to do. So
Like
posting online, posting your children with the school uniform on is so dangerous. It's so easy to be able to trace what school your child goes to with a school uniform. Posting the name of the school, I mean, taking them to school and then posting, oh, this is the name of the school of my children's school is really dangerous. Even posting, oh, I went for inter-house sport, I went for a sport event at my child's school, and we had a parent-teachers race, I won, and then posting the name of everything is so dangerous because then someone can use that information, to target not just you, but your children, going forward. And same thing, of course, I've said about routines. Again, another thing I must say is sometimes we share information and we don't even know that we are sharing information. We share the information of our offices, where we can find, where those offices can be found. We share information of our car plates, license plate numbers. It's so dangerous because then it's so easy to find your car. Some people even post pictures of their cars, like specific pictures of their cars. So it's so easy to trace you if someone needs to find you, or just posting like an ID card. It can be any ID card. It can be your passport. It can be your national ID. Posting that whole thing with the national ID number, a number that should be private to you. Now the whole world now knows the number. These are ways I think we should be able to protect ourselves. Another thing is tagging our location. I think Amina touched on this a little bit, but I'm still going to talk about it. Tagging our location, saying I'm posting this picture from Tokyo, and then you say, oh, Uduak is at Japan. I mean, you see, very dangerous. You cannot put like those tags online because everybody now knows where you are from, right? Everybody knows where you are in that moment. Doing live videos, posting live things that's happening to you is not the best. If you want to share information online, again, we're not saying that you cannot share information online, but maybe you should leave that place first before you come back to share that information. You must have left maybe a day or two completely before you share, okay, this is what I did, this is where I was. Now that information, that thing has happened in the past, not happening currently. So that's another thing I think we should all be conscious of. Another thing I'll probably check, I will say, of course, is the Find My Phone thing, because I talked about it before. Now, most people have the Find My Phone thing activated on their phones, because if you lose your phone through Google or something, you want to be able to find your phone. There's no problem with that. But please check. Is it linked to an email address that you don't know? Is it linked to another person's contact address that you don't know? It is really important. Keep checking. I mean, even write on WhatsApp. And I love the fact that Amina touched on WhatsApp. Check. Is my WhatsApp linked to another email address for recovery? Is that, can I be logged out and then another email address is used to recover my WhatsApp? This is very important. I'm going to share this. Many years ago, I was a victim of that myself. My email address was linked to some guy's, my WhatsApp was linked to some guy's email address. I didn't know until one day I stumbled on that accidentally. And guess what? This was a friend who I was no longer in communication with, but he could still have access to my WhatsApp. I was absolutely terrified. I mean, this was even before the AI was not a thing at the time. I mean, WhatsApp was barely a thing at the time, really. But people understand how these things work, and they're able to use this information to harm women if we're not careful or sensitive about this. Another thing, do we use the same password for everything? Sometimes you use one password because it's easy for you to remember. But how dangerous is that? The same password for emails, the same password for Facebook, same password for all social media accounts. If you have to apply for a scholarship, the same password. If you want to apply for a fellowship, the same password. I mean, the same password is used for every single thing. And sometimes the same password is used for our banking information, our banking app. We need to understand changing passwords is really, really important. Don't use the same passwords for every single thing. Try and see how you can change it so that someone cannot just guess your password and then use it. Please do not use common things to create your passwords, like your birthday. A lot of people use their birthdays for passwords. Don't use your birthdays for password. Don't use your child's birthday for password. Don't use your child's name for password or your pet's name for passwords. They seem simple, but honestly, these are easy ways that people are able to hack, accounts, and specifically for women. Because if it's a man, if you try a particular password, if it doesn't work, you probably not think that he's going to use his child's name for password. But for a woman, honestly, most times you see that she's going to use her child's name as a password. So these are gendered issues, right? These are issues that happen specifically to women. Don't use those kind of things for password. Don't store intimate pictures of yourself in cloud and say, oh, I stored it on my Google Drive. Your Google Drive can be accessed like that. I mean, so easily. And so if you start intimate pictures or private pictures and you feel like nobody's ever going to see those pictures, no. It is very possible for people to see those pictures, have access to those pictures, and share those pictures like to the whole world. So it's really good that we protect ourselves in that way. I'm just going to mention maybe a couple more and then I'll be done. Most times we go to a public place and we look for Wi-Fi. Oh, free Wi-Fi. And how dangerous is that? You're connecting to free Wi-Fi. You don't even know if they're able to access all your information by connecting to that free Wi-Fi. Only connect to Wi-Fi that you know is safe and can be used safely. Not public Wi-Fi sometimes we go to a restaurant and we just connect to the Wi-Fi. We go to a club, we connect to Wi-Fi. We don't even know what information is being stolen, through that public Wi-Fi. Many of us don't have antivirus on our phones. We don't have antivirus on our systems, on our laptops, or anything, or any of our devices. This needs to change. We need to create and have regular updates on our phones or our devices. If your device is getting hot, I see people do strange things. Your device is getting hot and you just put like ice on it so that it gets cold. Or I've seen that. People literally put their phones in the fridge so it gets cold. Oh, it's too hot. That is an indication that you're about to be hacked. Please, it is not about hot or cold. If your device is getting hot so suddenly, it is most likely you're being hacked. Some virus or some of your information has been stolen. Please go back and check to be very sure that you're not falling victim, right, of that. I think one other thing probably I would mention is if your battery is being drained very fast. Sometimes you might think, oh yeah, the battery is being drained. Maybe the battery is getting bad. Sometimes, no, your battery is not getting bad. You're about to be hacked. So please go back and check and be double sure about these things. Lastly, please know nowhere is safe. Don't think that you can put all your information in one place and store it there and then nobody's going to have access to that. Keep checking to be sure that you are really safe if you think you are. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so very much, Wura. I could not even imagine the part of putting phone in the fridge. Like, hello. So people actually do these things. Wow. Amazing. Unbelievable. As we begin to wrap up, we have a goodwill message. I'll come to you shortly, please. We have a goodwill message from Queen Esther and Lead Girl. Omoba, please could you share on the chat function? Dr. Vehai is my colleague here in the program here in Tokyo. and she has a powerful, organization she's leading there in Botswana. She's doing a great job, and she has also decided to unite with us to actually push this message out there to empower women and girls. Veha is here, but I think this thing has some issue, her mic, but we can read the goodwill message and we can see her beautiful picture. So as we even begin to wrap up now, so what would be your closing words? Amina, I'll take yours first, then I'll now take Wura. So in this wonderful landscape that you have painted, how can we, actually empower women, for their own safety, both online and offline, without limiting their abilities to participate in the public space? Because it's beginning to look like a delicate balance. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I did mention something like that, yeah. But before I go into this question, I need to adjust one thing to what Sister Laura said. When you are creating your password, it would be nice if you can include special characters like hyphen, a dash, hash, and then at. Any of those special characters will help you in making your password a bit harder. And thank you very much. So, protecting women. Like I did say earlier, and I'll still be saying this, we cannot shy away from the fact that women who are enablers against abuses offline, we still have the same crop of women who are enablers of abuses online. So what are we going to do? We are going to keep speaking. Our voice is our currency against JBV, be it JBV offline, be it a tech-enabled JBV, be it any form of it at all. Our voice is still going to be the best currency we have to offer. What are we going to do with our voice? Advocacy. When we're going to engage people, we're going to talk to them, just like a few things we've listed here. These are things you need to do to protect yourself. But on the flip side, do not let anyone coerce you. Do not let anyone silence you. Like the case I made mention of earlier, that lady that was targeted, and I love her spirit. She's somebody who I just randomly ran into online, and then I just like her tenacity when it comes to feminism and women issues. That thing that she has is what we call thick skin, and I understand that many women do not have that thick skin, but I want to put it for us today. We need to develop the thick skin to say no to any form of abuses. You cannot silence me, you cannot coerce me, you cannot tell me how to relate and what to say and what not to say. Many a times we've been called toxic, we've been called wicked, we've called witches, we've been called all manner of names under the guise of feminism because we are advocates. But that has not deterred us, that has not stopped us from talking and speaking of using tech against JBV where there is need for us to speak out, using social media, using any form of technology at all. But taking it offline, we need to talk to women. It could just be a group of women. The ripple effect is going to be much. You talk to church members, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. That group of women that you belong to, tell them about the negative effect of tech. And then if they do not understand that people taking their pictures and then posting it online for whatever gains, for views, for likes, for engagement online is against them. Yes, we'll have the cyber crime law, the act or whatever it is. I was trying to go through it, and then it's just ridiculous that even on that same law that is ought to protect you against some of this cyber bully, cyber threat, and all of that, they are still going to violate your right. Because I saw that there are some agencies that will have access to more like hacking or tapping your phone. And speaking of tapping, women need to know that your spouses could tap their devices as well. That man you are living with could tap your phone, could get to be tracking you and monitoring you. An incident happened sometimes in Lagos, and then the lady was unalive. And these are some of the words that I hate using across social media, but I have to use it because this video could go out there. She was killed by her ex-lover because he had access to her devices. He tapped the devices without her knowledge, and then he was keeping tab of her until when he got to the place that I realized this is where I could end this thing with this girl by unaliving her and eventually he did. So we need to be very careful. We cannot be careful enough, but on the flip side, need to know the basic things at the fingertips, and then know how to protect yourself against some of this JBV tech facilitated that are happening around
Wow.
us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Amina. So Wira, you just give us your response to this in 2 minutes, and then we'll just open the floor briefly. In case you have any question for the speakers, you could begin to drop it on the chat function, okay? And then we can also give like maybe a few minutes. You can actually unmute and ask your question. So please, you can begin to do that. But Wura, in closing, I want you to tell me, in all of this, how do we create a culture of digital confidence, and not fear for women and girls?
Thank you for that very important question. I think first we need to understand that knowledge is power. And so if you're even right here on this call, that's one step you're taking to gain knowledge for yourself. I'm sure everyone on this call, including myself, has learned one thing or the other by being a part of this conversation. So that's one way to, really create that culture on getting knowledge every single day. Don't stop getting knowledge about these things. Be conscious about it. The whole world is going digitalized, and we cannot stop it. I think I must say that. We can't stop it. I once stumbled on a woman in a bus in London, and it was so funny because she had these little stickers where she used to write. She wrote end digitalization now, or something like that, and she was pasting it like on every seat. And I was wondering what is she pasting. And I asked her, she was a really old woman, really, by the way. I asked her, what are you pasting on the seats? And she said, the internet is killing us, it's destroying us. And I just looked at her and I'm like, how did you get into this bus in the first place? Yeah, because you got into this bus by scanning your card to pay. It's because of digitalization that you could even get on the bus in the first place. Yeah, so my point is, it's not ending anytime soon. We need to be conscious of this. And so we need to get knowledge to be able to protect ourselves. Second thing, we need to understand that TFGBV is gendered. It is against women. It is not a general thing that happens just to anybody. Women are deliberately being targeted with technology to be abused. Stigma and everything is still there. So we need to understand that protecting ourselves must be a priority. Getting information, like I said before, and understand that this is a gendered space, and women must be able to protect themselves as much as possible. And the last one I'm going to talk about, of course, is if you are in this situation, please get help. Staying silent is not going to help. And I'm not just talking to women in general, even for women human rights defenders, of which I am a part of, and most of us on this call are women human rights defenders too. We need to understand that staying silent is not the way out. Because we do all this work every single time. A lot of us do a lot of work on the ground that are not even really reflected online. And some of us do a lot of this that's also reflected online. But still, we can be targeted at different points in time. Don't stay silent. Please reach out and ask for help. Reach out, call, find a way to get the help that you need. If you are in Nigeria, please call our helpline at Women's Safe House, and we're going to put that helpline right in the number, right in the chat. It's 24 hours. You can call, you can get support anytime, day or night. Please do that. Don't stay silent if you're experiencing this. It's really, really important that you get the help that you need, and of course, spread the word to everybody else. With that, I think I'll close. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Wura. So we have the floor open now. Do we have any question, any contribution, any comment? Please, you're free now for the next few minutes before we wrap up. Thank you. Please, could you help me check? Do you have any hand? You can raise your hand, or you want to drop a message on the chat function. Okay. All right. So it seems we really don't have any question at the moment. But I need to let you know that if things come up, you can always email. The email I used to share the login details. You could always email us there. And I also need to let you know that Women Safe House, Womenate, and of course, WeSpace and other like-minded organizations should be ready to collaborate more. And in the spirit of uniting to end gender-based violence against women and girls, we are actually coming up with a coalition for the eradication of violence against women and girls, and dealing with technology facilitated gender-based violence will also be one of the things we'll be tackling head on. So in essence, we are going to be creating that safe space we've been talking about, because we cannot wait for somebody to do what we know should be done. So we will be taking it upon ourselves. And it's a journey I'll invite every one of us to let us come together, put in our expertise, put in all that we know can make us to be safe in the digital space, not just for ourselves, but for the women and the girls that we lead and continue to support in our organizations. And in closing, I need to remind us, just like Amina said, that our voice is our currency. So we cannot be silenced, not online, not offline. So we owe ourselves a duty to equip ourselves with the skills, with the knowledge, with the adequate, tools to keep ourselves safe, and also to stand up to support and defend other women rights defenders and other women, the vulnerable women and girls in that digital space. So please, all that when you're learning, when you're equipping yourself with skills, know that it's not just for yourself alone, but it is for all the women that you're supporting. And we invite you to commit to taking one action after this event during the 16 days of activism, to equip yourself with the skills like we have shared some, explore some more, share with us in the safe space we are creating. Let's continue to keep ourselves safe. Thank you very much as we continue to create that culture of digital confidence. All right, so I guess that will be that for now. Thank you, Wura. Thank you
so much,
Amina, Anastasia. Thank you, Dr. Vihai. Thank you, Bola Watife. Thank you, Israel. Omoba, thank you, thank you. And our two other friends. So this will be recorded, and I think Mura will make the link available for us to share as we continue to push this message. Anastasia, thank you very much. All right, so that will be a wrap from me, and bye-bye for now.
bye everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you.
Anastasia. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dwight. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you, Israel. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.